Hey there, English speakers. Jesse here from Sweet Academy, helping you get your English to the next level. And today we're going back into the classroom and I'm helping a student prepare for an IELTS speaking exam. I posted on my Facebook page a day when I had dedicated to IELTS speaking practice. And I invited you to sign up and join along, sign up for a lesson. And one of my students accepted, and you're about to hear the beginning of our lesson. Now, Zena isn't preparing directly for an IELTS exam, so I was actually explaining to her the structure of the exam. She was very curious because she knew a lot of advice, and that's what I'm posting here. Her advice that she's studied and learned about taking the IELTS or any speaking exam. She gave a lot of good advice. She gave like 9 or 10 tips that were very strong, and I'm posting those here. So we're going to give you tips for pronunciation, tips for the IELTS speaking exam, and generally the structure and overview of the exam. And if this is your first time here, if you like what you see, consider subscribing and check out a new series I'm working on called Useful English Expressions, which I take 5 expressions that I learned or used or read or heard this week, and I present them in a presentation for you. Check those out. I'll put those up here, and subscribe and click the bell so you'll be notified next time that we have a lesson. But let's get into the classroom. Is that how you say your name, Zena?
Yeah. Okay to do exam without camera because it would be much better for me. I can see you very well.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay. And you're not going to use your camera on this, correct?
Yeah, because I'm kind of shy person, and I think that's going to affect on my exam. Is that okay?
That's okay with me. And hold on, let me get my earphones so I can hear you better.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, that's okay with me, especially since, I don't know if you've read it, but this is going to go on YouTube, on my YouTube channel. So, yeah, you don't have to show your face at all.
Okay. The problem is that I'm trying to overcome, my every person. Yeah, I think you've got it.
I think what?
Anyone wants to speak any language, you have this anxiety or fear. So when you be behind the camera, you maybe can express your idea more clearly. That's my point.
That you want to overcome it.
Yeah, I want to overcome it.
Yeah. And especially, maybe one day when we practice, we can use a camera, because when you take your exam, you don't want to have that be the first shock of face to face.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
So,
and I'm so thankful. By the way, I'm so thankful for this chance.
Oh, very nice. Well, thank you for your kind words. They, as I said, they really made my day. They made me really happy to read.
Not at all, because you're a great teacher. Definitely a great teacher.
Well, thank you. Thank you. And hopefully you'll think so after our lesson here.
Yeah.
So, very nice. When are you taking your IELTS exam first?
I've never taken any exam like that before, but I just want to like to try it.
Okay. I mean, do you have one scheduled? Are you going to?
No, I don't have.
Okay. That's fine. And so what I'm going to do actually is I'm just going to go through the exam. I have them here, parts 1, part 2, part 3, and we're going to go through them, and it's going to just be like a practice exam. So this will be perfect for you.
Okay.
Right?
That's great. Yeah, that should be great.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So I'll just go through the script, and then afterwards I'll give you, I'm taking notes here. So afterwards I'll give you any feedback that that I have based on your answers.
Okay.
Okay. Do you know anything about the IELTS exam? About the structure or anything?
Concerning speaking skill for speaking test,
Yeah.
actually I've heard some tips that the person should follow through this test. For instance, you should be yourself. I mean, if you don't know the answers, you should be natural. You can express your opinion, your idea. You should also pay attention for your mistakes, for the grammatical mistakes that you're doing. You have to focus on them. You have to use good structure. If you made any mistake, any fault, you can say sorry. I meant this. You should also your sentences be understandable for the examiner. And this stuff, as I heard before, I heard a lot, but that way can I remember. Your grammar should be somehow, you should have good complex grammar. It is not enough to use simple sentences only. It's okay, but at least you should use compound and complex. Also, you should go to the point of the answer. You should not go far away from the core of the answer because that will actually affect on your mark that you will get. And yeah, okay, concerning vocabulary, you can also use a lot of vocabularies, rich vocabularies, because that will enhance your mark. You can also, as well as use some idioms, as I remember, and yeah, that's what I remember.
Very nice. You have well, you're off to a good start. Those were all very good tips that you've learned, and I'm sure you're going to use.
Besides, you should pay attention for your pronunciation, your tones that you speak. You should somehow try to be like they should be somehow just like native in order to that will help the examiner to understand what you're trying to say. And don't be afraid in case somebody asks you any question that you are not interested with. Maybe we are not interested in some topics, like, but what we can do, we cannot say I don't know because it is a speaking test. So try to think, try at least to mention the advantage of that things that you know. If anybody asks you about technology and you are not interested in it, or you don't have enough information, you can at least mention the advantage of technology, or you can use, for example, WH question, like what is that? You may try to, I just to create this thing for me. When anybody asks me any question that I don't know how to answer it, I try to use WH questions. For instance, I say, why we use cell phone, why, when we are going to using WH questions will help the cells in your brain to generate new ideas. And this is the point that I want to send. Yeah, I think these things are good.
Okay. I like
Yeah.
it. Excellent. Excellent. And that's about it. Yeah, I really like what you said about be natural. That's, I think, the number one thing that people focus too much on
Yeah.
preparing a script or something, which that never works out well. By the way, you're speaking of pronunciation, you're from Baghdad, you said?
Yes, I'm from Baghdad.
And you have very clear pronunciation. I like your pronunciation. How did you learn and how did you improve your pronunciation?
Okay, well, first of all, I'm studying at English department. I'm supposed to be an English teacher, so I work on on my pronunciation, like You can say I listen a lot to native speaker. I listen to everything that I love and make me enjoy and give me an enjoyable time. That's why the things that enhance or sustain my pronunciation.
Interesting. Okay. And do you have any, but how did you get your pronunciation to be what it is? Did you do a lot of do you talk with a lot of native speakers, do you mean? Or do you watch films and you copy what they say, you shadow what they say?
Mm, like talking with native speakers, no, I don't have. But as I told you before, I listen a lot, and listening a lot, I think that will help me. I don't know, it's just go naturally in a
Yeah.
natural way. Listening a lot.
Yeah. It seems like it's come natural to you. I like it. It's very nice. Um okay.
The more you listen, the more you will get better and better.
That's true. And that's with almost anything, isn't it? There's an expression in English
Yeah.
that we say that's why you have two ears and one mouth. So you should listen twice as much as you speak. Do you have a similar thing in
Yeah,
Arabic?
that's right. No, I didn't hear that before.
I haven't heard that before. So do you know the organization, the structure of the speaking exam, how many parts they are
No,
and
no.
what are the
I don't
parts?
I don't know because I didn't do that before. It's the
Okay.
first time. And by the way, I didn't prepare anything. It's just the first time for me.
Okay. Then let me tell you that before we start. First, there are three parts of the speaking exam.
Okay.
Usually, the entire speaking exam will last no more than 15 minutes
Okay.
because it's very structured. And the structure is this: there are three parts. The first part is an interview, basic, just personal questions about you, talking about where you're from, interests, hobbies, um, you know, food, things like that, just basic things. So it's just typically one question, and you give maybe a 2 sentence answer,
Okay.
right?
Two
So
cents.
just like 1 or 2 or 3 sentences. That's part one. Then
Okay.
part two is what they call the long turn. So
Okay.
this is you will get a card, and the card will have a question, and it'll have a
Okay.
question, that a main question for you to answer, and then it'll have 3 or 4 talking points that you need to talk about. So it'll
Okay.
say, for example, describe a painting that you like that's really impactful to you. So that's the main question. Then part one, you should talk about what painting it is, when you first saw it, how you felt when you saw it, and why
Is
you like it.
is that example or you will give me another question?
No, that's an example. That's not going to be the one you have.
Okay.
Yeah, don't worry. I'm not going to help you do better.
Yeah.
And then not during the exam, after the exam I will.
Okay.
And then part three is another interview, but in this interview it's more of a back and forth conversation, so you can get more in depth, more personal, really use your language that you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I will speak and you will say enough for me, or just when I finish my answer, I say that I had enough. No.
I'm so you mean during each question of part
Yeah.
one?
Yeah.
No, you just answer the question, and usually the teacher will control times and things like that. Just for this first part, you don't want to talk too much. You don't want to talk like for a minute straight on, you know, what country are you from? You know what I mean? She gave some good advice, didn't she? I told you. If you like what you saw, just even a little bit, then click that subscribe button and click the bell so you can be notified next time we have a lesson. Also, you can sign up for your own lesson that can be seen here, and I give advice and feedback. Check back. I'll make a playlist of her entire lesson, including her practice exam. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.